Race Day 2 has arrived in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, brought to you and powered by Acci Sport. And once again, lots of cinema in our championship so far, with Matteo De Parlo, the championship lead on 107 points, breaking a century ahead of Freddie Slater and also matching him in terms of number of race wins, having concluded race 1 here at Hungaroring with a second race victory of the season and Trident's first here at Hungaroring in the Formula Regional European Championship by Al.
It is time for race 2 for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine from the Hungaroring here this week, and race 2 of the week, and we are racing around the 4.381 miles of the Hungaroring this week, and it's going to be a good one. It is the build-up to the Formula 1 Silverstone Grand Prix. This is the build-up to that, and I'll be ending this stream and going straight to the F1 stream right after that. So this is the build-up. Hopefully we get some action in this, and hopefully we get some action in the Formula 1 race as well. It's time for race 2 for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, brought to you by actually ACI Sports and thanks to Alpine as well. So this race is going to be quite a good one here, whilst we have Enzo Deligny on pole position. Yes, Enzo Deligny on pole position for this one, followed by Rashid Al-Dahiri in second place, Freddie Slater in P3, and two championship rivals, P3 and P4 in this one, Freddie Slater and Matteo De Parlo. Prema Racing versus Trident off the second row of the grid, Akshay Bora and Kanato Lay, RSGP, 5th and 6th. Michael Belov, Pedro Claro, Eva Julter, and Dion Gauda. Nadov Buvbir Bakti in P11, here Yamakoshi in P12. Trident ART Grand Prix there. Jin Nakamura and Giovanni Maschio in P14, Taito Kato P15, Ricky Lee in P16, Ian Ekmans in P17, Jack Beaton, the Aussie, in P18 after a pretty good qualifying position, but when you have a low rubber circuit and you get more rubber put down on it, it gets quite slow. Enzo Ye, Dorian Pan, Nikita Bedrin, Yaroslav Veselea, Kaglani, and Sagra, the Chinese driver, down in P24. The Axel GP team won't be very happy with that. Maya Vug, the F1 Academy driver this weekend as a rookie. Zachary David, Zaka Al-Nostri, Egwa Borna, Edu Robertson, and Enzo Richer, the Dutchman, down in last place. That is the starting grid for race 2. We now are about to get the race underway here for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Hope you guys have all enjoyed your days. I am going to enjoy my day because it is holidays for me. So plenty of streaming and plenty of recording videos as well. So I'm definitely going to be enjoying my day here as the teams move off the grid. And we're about to get ready to go racing for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. It's going to be quite interesting. It's going to be Enzo Deligny against Rashid Al-Dahiri off the front row of the grid. We're about to get the formation lap underway. I think I saw the 2-minute board a few minutes ago, so we're going to get the 1-minute board up in a minute, and then we'll go off racing. But it's going to be Rashid Al-Dahiri against Enzo Deligny, and then the two championship rivals, 3rd and 4th. Are they going to make contact into turn 1? Are we going to see contact heading into turn 1? Oh, cool. So, busy week for you then, but I see 2 scheduled streams so far. Yes! There is one more stream after this, and it is the British Grand Prix for the Formula 1 Grand Prix at Britain. So, I'm going to be streaming this and then heading off straight to that. So, that's a big stream I'm going to be doing there. But Enzo Deligny, for front row, are the two championship rivals going to make contact into turn 1? Matteo De Parlo against Freddie Slater. We have seen Freddie Slater make contact with many of cars this weekend. Freddie Slater and Rashid Al-Dahiri have had a bit of a war this weekend, fighting for 5th and 6th in race 1. Hoping that we can see some more battles here in this one. formation lap underway for all of these drivers, and they head through turn 2 now. So it'll be important here that you get as much tyre temperature as possible. The last race of the weekend. Of course, GB3 is here as well, which is practically like the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. They're all F4 cars. So GB3 here this weekend, as long with International GT Open. So that race has just finished. This track will be quite grippy after that race. So we're going to get some good action here for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine here. But Rachel Tahiri and Enzo Deligny on the front row of the grids. The cars running through the chicane. We're going to get this race underway in around about a couple minutes' time. Here, let's head it down to the world feed and get their opinions on this race.
And now, of course, since 2024 with FRECA, with Kick Motorsport initially, and now since moving to Trident, a great team, and have made huge strides as a unit, with De Paolo picking up Trident's first ever win in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine in race 1 at Misano. The drivers now bringing themselves almost to a crawl as they make their way through turns 6 and 7 at the chicane, as the 74 of Ian Eichmann's now blast past in his second race appearance here in this championship, and his first weekend in F3 standard machinery. It's now the front runners make their way through turn 13 and very soon to turn 14 as well. There's your championship leader, Matteo De Paolo, who's going to be looking to once again increase the points deficit to other drivers around, but many of the protagonists to the title currently mixing things up in the top 5. We, of course, did catch up with the drivers during our drivers signing session as well. The fans that have flocked in for this weekend in the newly renovated Hungaroring circuit, coming down to say hello and meeting their stars of the future, and getting many signatures. Every single driver from every team on the grid coming in and representing here this weekend. Of course, we've got 30 drivers that came down and took a seat in front of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine Hospitality station, and we're sat down, and for a good while we're accepting and taking and providing signatures for the viewing public that have come along to watch these drivers take to the circuit here at Hungaroring, of course home to the Hungarian Grand Prix. And of course, since the renovation has taken place, the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, also the first series to actually get a taster of this new look circuit now, as they look.
So there you go, newly renovated circuit here, thanks to George Morgan, who is up at the com box doing all the support races here this weekend. He's been doing Euro Formula and GT International Open, so loads happening at the Hungaroring this weekend. Dirty drivers lining up on the grid. Hello Nicole, how are you? On this beautiful morning. Green flag waves at the back of the grid. We are about to get 4, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go, and we are go for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. It's good start from what is Enzo Deligny, who takes the lead down into turn number 1. Rachel Tahiri into P2, then followed by Matteo De Paolo. Freddie Slater up the inside, what looked to be the 2 championship rivals side by side, and then Enzo Deligny and Rachel Tahiri also side by side. Everybody seems to get through turn 1 quite nicely, unlike race 1 when we saw flying front wings going everywhere. But Rachel Tahiri leads Freddie Slater around the outside. The American sensation trying to go around the outside didn't happen on what looked to be Rachel Tahiri. No, it was Enzo Deligny. Rachel Tahiri into P2. Into P3, Matteo De Paolo, Akshay Bora, Evan Joulter, Enzo Yalay, Michael Bello, Pedro Clara, and Dion Gauda in P10. So what a race start there from Enzo Deligny. Freddie Slater went to try and go around the outside at turn 2. That wasn't going to happen. The drivers now head through turn 6 and turn 7, the chicane. The ring chicane. Oh, contact! Contact, a big contact. Oh my god, and that is, I think, the number 99. The Axel GP car. They're making big contact. That was Mashio. Contact. Oh my god, that was big that looked to be left front with right front. There. No, that was Borgner. Yeah, that was Mashio, so I was right. That was Mashio contact, and I think this might end up in a safety car if that car can't get moving. So big contacts there, and and that was with, not sure who that actually was with, that was car number 5. I think it was with Jack Beaton, so he might have made contact there with Jack Beaton as he run through turn 6 and turn 7, as cars fan out nearly 5 and 6 wide down the front straight, and they all get Pyro back in as they headed to turn 1, Jack Beaton up the insides. I think that was successfully moved done. Might have been there, as this is Dion Gowda, and yes, this is Michael Belov looking for a move there on Lay. Not getting that move done, but everybody, Pyro's back in, I think. Mashio was able to get that car moving, so we're back to green flag racing here, so there's no yellow flags down there at turn 7. But Jack Beaton, what a start. Up 3 places into P16. And probably the biggest starter of all, Freddie Slater, tried to go around the outside. Oh, off is the number 55 car of Taito Kato off the road and just dipped the wheel in the gravel. Lost a spot to King Nakamura in the process, but Jack Beaton all over the back of that train now, trying to possibly look for some more positions, but battles going all the way back down the field. But as we saw yesterday, that advantage of pulling away out the front of the field is quite overpowered. That margin 1.3. So Enzo Deligny doing exactly what Mattia DiPaolo did yesterday. Really pulling away, pulling that margin right out. He's done that quite nicely. It's out to 1.3 seconds now. That margin. 1.6 back to Freddie Slater. Rachel Tahiri in P3. Mattia DiPaolo P4. Akshay Bora P5. That is your top 5. Followed by Evan Julter, Enzo Lay, Michael Belov. And then you've got Pedro Claro, Makoshi, who went up the inside. Big dive. I think that was Makoshi getting a move done on Pedro. That might have been Pedro Claro, but I could be wrong. Up the inside, Pedro Claro, who looked for the move back. Didn't end up happening, but wow, that was a big move there from Makoshi. Really wanting to get that move done. But Enzo Deligny, the fastest lap of the race, 40.097. You compare that to qualifying, it's nearly 3.3 seconds slower. Of course, everybody bunched up in a train, but Enzo Deligny expecting to fly through this race. The top 4 quite stable. Enzo Deligny, Freddie Slater, Rachel Tahiri, Mattia DiPaolo. These young drivers really putting their driving IQ to the test here in race 2. Ambient temperature of about 26 degrees, so quite humid as well. 74% humidity compared to qualifying yesterday. But everybody filing through quite simply and nicely. 1.8 seconds that margin. Enzo Deligny to Freddie Slater. Then another second back to Aldaheri. Then another 0.4 back to Mattia DiPaolo. Expect Mattia DiPaolo to want to try and get past Rashid Aldaheri. Enzo Deligny just dropped that fastest lap by nearly a second, 1:39.7. But also extended that margin to Freddie Slater to 1.8 seconds on that lap. So Enzo Deligny really flying at this point. We are on screen with him at the moment. Here, and then you see that margin back to Freddie Slater, and then the margin back to Aldaheri, which is 1 second. So Freddie Slater trying to keep up with Enzo Deligny. He seems quick, and that's the reason why he got pole in qualifying, because of the pace that he had. Here, that is the main reason why he got pole, because the insane amount of pace that he had. 2 seconds now, that margin. Enzo Deligny to Freddie Slater. Wow. He's quick. Number 90 down the inside of car 2. And there was contact. So that was much further back down the grid. Much further back down. That was contact down at turn 1. I think that was Borgner. So Borgner. And I think that was might have been Koglani. No, Al Moshri. That was Al Moshri, sorry. So Al Moshri and Borgner making contact that dropped Bogner all the way back down to P28 after starting P18. So he was actually dropping positions before that, quite unfortunately there. But as we run through the fields here, this is one of the Axel Racing drivers on screen at the moment. That margin just dropped by a tenth there, from Deligny to Slater, 1.9 seconds, that margin. So just closing ever so slightly, and Slater's pulling away from Al-Dahiri, so maybe not having as much pace in this race, Al-Dahiri, and it's probably because of that dirty air that you get, that dirty air effect. It's quite big in these cars, and the aerodynamic performance of these cars aren't as good as what you would see on a GT car or anything else like that, or even on a Formula 1 car. These cars definitely don't have as much downforce, so the aero wash is quite big on these cars. And it really affects the downforce and the grip of the cars. 2.1 seconds, Enzo Deligny to Freddie Slater. Commentators curse, possibly. We haven't had a safety car yet, in this race. But everybody's quite calm in this one. No real battles going on at the moment. But the field definitely hasn't spread out, there's no doubt about that. They're still all quite compact together at this point in the race. 2.1 seconds. So that margin, off the road. And just off on the Red Bull strip down there. So maybe a bit of contact there involving Pedro Claro. I think that was Pedro Claro there. No, that was back down with Jack Beaton. So Jack Beaton, Nakamura there. So a little bit of contact happening. Of course, if you guys are enjoying the stream, hit like button, subscribe. If you haven't already, hit like button, subscribe. Really help out as well. Here, Mattia Tapalo closing up there. He set the second fastest lap. Mattia Tapalo on that last lap as Michael Belov, Hiro Makoshi, covers, crisscross, side by side coming out of turn 1. Now, the problem is here as Claro covers off Yamakoshi inside run, but Claro covering quite nicely. So he's able to keep that position there. But guess who's been able to just creep into this? Nandov Buvbiran Bhakti in P11, Dion Gauda, Taito Kato, Kinaka Roberta, and Jack Beaton as well, also able to creep into this. So Hiyu Yamakoshi and Pedro Claro having a scrap at it in this one. Having a real scrap in this race. And then just in front, Mike Belov, 1.1 seconds in front. Kanato Lay, Evan Julter, Akshay Board, Mattia Tapalo, Rachel Dahiri, Freddie Slater, 2.4. Then up to Enzo Deligny. As it looked up the inside, and they're going to be side by side again here between the two of Yamakoshi and Pedro Claro. Once again running side by side. But I don't think that was quite as successful as what it was last time. Definitely not as successful there. Not able to pull that move off. I think that was with Taito Kato and Dion Gauda, sorry. So Dion Gauda and Taito Kato having that battle. And then that behind Naka Roberta, Jack Beaton and Ekmans in P16. And then Ricky Liu, Enzo Ye, and then Dorian Pan, P19, Kagdrani David. There's Yaroslav Veselau in P22, Alan Moshri, Richard Robertson, Sagra, Borna, Mashio, Maya Jack Beaton around! And there's a fire in that car. Jack Beaton, the Aussie, is around, and there's a fire in the back of that car. That is a big problem. So it's actually bursting in flames there. That's a big problem. They're going to have to possibly get this race under control. Let's see what happened. Was there contact? No, but it was really close to it. And that's why we saw cars going off down there at turn 1. Jack Beaton, there's a big fire in the back of that car. There. Safety car immediately deployed. So Jack Beaton, sadly, out of this race, along with Myvug and Nikita Bedrin. There's a big fire in the back of that car. Quite unfortunately. So he will not be able to get that car back up and moving. Possibly, yeah, just not able to get the car moving is the real problem. And Machio as well is out of this race. So now we're only back down to 26 cars in this field, with 4 cars already retiring off what happened. I don't know, he just lost the rear end into turn 1, and then the car just burst up in flames. That was really strange there. If we get a replay, I'll hand it down to the world feed and see what they think about it there. But that was really strange. The car into turn 1. No, it was turn 1, and they were able to actually move that car quite quickly there. The Hungarian team, the officials really working fast, but that's really strange. He just spun out of turn 1, and then almost like the car just shut off in power, and just the car burst up in flames. So maybe, I don't know, something to do with maybe the inside of the car or something like that. But we did get a replay a few moments ago. We haven't got one since. But that was quite strange. So Jack Beaton, the Australian, out of this race, along with Machio, Mayavug, and Nikita Bedrin in P30. But it has to be late for you, Elizabeth and Thomas. It has to be. It has to be late for you two. It has to be somewhat late, as the safety car deployed here in this one. And once again, commentators curse the safety car out and back in this lap. So the team here at Hungary doing an absolutely amazing job to get the Jack Beaton Prema car out of the way. And also another note, the Deligny margin that he had of 2.4 seconds back down to 0.1 of a second. Well, it's 12 p.m. here. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know how you guys survive. I don't even know how you guys survive, to be honest. I wouldn't. Safety car in this lap. And we're going to get back underway for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. It's the Alpine safety car pulling away. And we're going to get back underway. Enzo Deligny weaving, and I have confirmation that you can weave, which is quite strange. That's dedication from European viewers. Oh yeah, dedication. Yep, very much. Very much dedication. Very much. Very much dedication. Indeed, as Enzo Deligny pulls away and safety car in, we go back to green flag racing. The cars run around the final corner. We're back to green flag. Enzo Deligny leads over Freddie Slater. Rush Aldaheri expects some moves into turn 1. It's going to be crazy. Can we see Matteo DiPaolo pull a move on Aldaheri? There's moves back further down the grid with Michael Belov and Hiyu Yamakoshi. Pulling out there is Michael Belov. Biron Bhakti and Dion Gauda and Taito Hikato also making some moves. Covering is Michael Belov and Hiyu Yamakoshi. Not going to happen there. Around the outside of with Ekman's Nakamura, keeping the car straight is the most important thing. And once again, Thomas getting Elizabeth's name wrong. Oh, I can't say anything. I've got it wrong many a times. So I'm going to shut up before I get roasted. I'm going to shut up. Enzo Deligny leads over Freddie Slater, that margin 0.7 up the insides. Oh, that was a big move as they headed into the chicane, turn 6 and turn 7. That was a big move. There, I think that was Hiyu Yamakoshi, and again Michael Belov really scrapping at it. So Yamakoshi also, by the way, moved up nearly 3 spots. How was that able to happen? Biron Bhakti upper spot, Taito Hikato upper spot, Dion Gauda also upper spot. So people making moves everywhere at this point in the race. Prema car off the road. I think that was Ricky Liu there, off the road down there at the second final corner. But Enzo Deligny, though, leads this race. 1.1 seconds. Again, I'll never get used to it. No, you probably won't. It's quite hard to get used to that sort of stuff. especially when you have a name spelled wrong. There as Hiyamakoshi being once again pressured. Not pressured, he's the one pressuring Michael Belov as they run down the back straight. That would have had to use push to pass there to get as close as he did. 1.1 seconds, Enzo Deligny to Freddie Slater. Yeah, it's Elisabeth. I could, yeah, no, it's when I think of the name Elizabeth, there's a Z in Elizabeth. Yes, Thomas put a Z in Elizabeth. That's what I think when I hear the word when I hear the name Elizabeth. I think Elizabeth. Yeah, the way that Thomas spelled it, Elizabeth. That's the way I think of it. I don't know. That's the way I think of it. I guess that's just the way that I think that's just the way that Elizabeth put it into her, like, the name. I'm special. You sound like my friends when they say that. I'm special. That's a good one. I'm special. Enzo Deligny leading this race, 1.4 seconds. That's good. I'm special. 1.6 seconds back to Freddie Slater, and then half a second back to Al Lahiri. But still got 11.5 minutes to go in this race. There's still a chance for another safety car, as much as we don't want another safety car, as Rachel Lahiri has just closed up to the back of Freddie Slater, so we could see a battle to the line here with 11.5 minutes to go. We're expecting 17 laps out of this race here, so 17 laps, not bad for a race like this. 17 laps without a safety car, though. That's the thing, is that we've already had a safety car, so it sort of just ruins the race in a way. Enzo Deligny leading 1.7 seconds back to Al Lahiri, 0.5 back. Here, so he's got quite a good, comfortable margin on board here with Michael Belov, who's just... He was under pressure by Hiyamakoshi, but that pressure's just sort of let off there, unsurprisingly. Also trying to keep the front end of that car cool. Trying to keep it as cool as possible. Yamakoshi's just sort of pulled up on the back end now once again onto Belov. He's just up in front of him. That margin, half a second there. 2 seconds now to Deligny to Slater. We're now starting to see Matteo De Paolo. He looked for a bit of a move there on Rachel Lahiri. So I reckon second, third and fourth, that battle could possibly blow up within the next 10 minutes of racing that is still to come. Now I just ticked over to 9 minutes and 50 seconds of racing still to come as well. Freddie Slater, Rachel Lahiri, just under a second, just under a second back. And then 0.4 back to Matteo De Paolo. I think we might see some push to passes starting to be used in this one. Possibly here because we've got Matteo De Paolo, who's leading this championship by 17 points. And when you've got Freddie Slater in P2, that margin can easily drop quite easy. But Freddie Slater has not won a race so far this weekend. It's all been taken by Matteo De Paolo. Pole went to Matteo De Paolo and Enzo Deligny taking pole as well. There has actually been only a 90% success rate from pole position, so Enzo Deligny could actually up that percentage rate. This rate in this race. Oh, words aren't wording. As you see the cars running through turn 13 and then into the tight right hand of turn 14. It's actually much tighter than what you think. But Enzo Deligny really controlling this race. the French driver, leading this race by just under 2.3 seconds there. Back to Freddie Slater, and then Rashad Bahari, who I've been really talking about so far this weekend. He's shown a bit of pace, actually. So that car has been tuned to this circuit quite nicely. And through the collective tests, it was actually Nakamura Berta that looked quick through collective test 1 and collective test 2, and then into free practice. It was Freddie Slater who topped free practice 1, and then Al Bahari topped free practice 2. So through the practice and tests that these cars and drivers got, there was a variety of people topping them, and then qualifying, of course, went the way of Freddie Slater, and then went the way of Matthias Paulo and Enzo Deligny. So 2 pole positions there going the way. 7.5 minutes to go in this one. We are on board here with Pedro Claro, and then now on board with Taito Hikato, who was eagerly wanting also a pass along with Hideyama Koshi and Michael Belov, but that was Taito Hikato looking for a move on Pedro Claro. That move didn't end up happening under that safety car restart. There, as now we're seeing Al Bahari getting a little bit close to the back. Sorry, not Al Bahari. This is Enzo. Oh, there's a problem. So Enzo Deligny's had a spin. Deligny's had a. I was wondering what has happened here, but Enzo Deligny's had a big problem. Our race leader. I was like, that's Enzo Deligny. He's had a bit. He's had a spin. He's had an off moment. Enzo Deligny. We're gonna get a replay of this because that is almost as strange as anything else. He's had no pressure all race. Locked up, obviously locked up or spun, and lost the position. Freddie Slater leads this race. Wow. What a change of emotion. Let's take a look at what happened here. So Al Bahari was slow. You let him by. It's just Rashad Al Bahari. No, not Rashad Al Bahari. Enzo Deligny just let him by. Wow. What? That was so strange. I'm mind boggled. He just let him by. He had a margin of nearly 2 seconds and actually had a chance to win this race. It's almost like he had a problem. It's almost like the car shut down in a way. It had no power. Wow, that is strange. But he wants a bit of action. Enzo Deligny down the inside. Freddie Slater now lets him by. What? And they're now on side by side out of turn 1. Problem is, Deligny has the inside run, make a bit of contact there with Freddie Slater. But Deligny now takes the race lead again. So why didn't he just keep the race lead? What? It goes from Deligny to Freddie Slater to Deligny. Huh? Wow, that was really strange. Deligny just backed off, and then Freddie Slater backed off to let Deligny back by. What? As if this race can't get any more stranger. That is really weird. I've never seen a racing driver do that before. Have a margin of nearly 2 seconds and just let it off. Wow, it's weird. Unless there was a genuine problem with that car, but it sounds as if he just let him by. And he's pulled the margin in. The margin of 1 second now from Enzo Deligny to Freddie Slater. So Deligny has pace. That is really strange. I can't wrap my head around that. I genuinely can't wrap my head around that. The margin 1 second, Enzo Deligny to Freddie Slater. And then 0.4 back to Al Bahari. And then 0.7 back to Matteo Di Paolo, who's leading this championship, by the way, sitting in P4. Freddie States is sitting P2. So 12 points going the way of Matt. So that margin only goes by 6 points at the end of this race. If, of course, the results stay the way it is. So that'll be good. But, of course, next round, we hit the halfway point of the season for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. We head to Imola next. So, Imola next for FRECA. I think they're with... no, they're not with the Italian F4 Championship. But FRECA heading off to Imola next. I think there's a double header in Imola for FRECA. So off there next, but it will be quite good to see some more action off at Imola as Enzo Deligny has once again backed off. So that car obviously must have a problem because he's closed that margin once again. That's strange. Wow, that's strange. Half a second, Deligny to Slater. There, so Deligny obviously bored with this race, leading for most of it, and now wants a bit of action. So he has a lot of pace. That's a good thing, but you might as well use it. 1.5 minutes to go in this race. We're going to get about 3 more laps, as all of a sudden, Enzo Deligny has just decided to... He's obviously tooling with Freddie Slater here. And obviously trying to give him first place, Freddie Slater. That's really weird. I don't see why you wouldn't just use your pace that you have. Unless he's genuinely got a problem. That car. But everything on that car seems perfectly fine. Doesn't seem to have any damage or anything, but it's quite weird. Indeed, quite weird. 1 minute to go in this race. What an action-packed race we've had so far. By the way, any plans for next week? Well, I'm going out Thursday with a friend as Freddie Slater takes the lead! Oh! Deligny definitely has a problem. He definitely does, because Freddie Slater's taking the lead. Enzo Deligny definitely does have a problem because he's losing positions faster than a kangaroo jumping off the road. Wow. So that's quite weird. Does that car genuinely have a problem? Our pole sitter, Enzo Deligny, has a genuine problem. It's almost like he loses power. Yeah, he's definitely lost power. That car, by far, has lost power down that back straight. That is very weird, but this race has immediately just come alive. Just like it always does in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. But Freddie Slater, what mixed emotions. I think next time around will be the last lap of the race. Oh. As if this race couldn't turn on its head and even more. Nearly 3 lead changes in this one. Margin of 2 seconds. Dropped. Back out to 2 seconds. Dropped. Freddie Slater leads. Loses the lead. Freddie Slater retakes the lead. And possibly yet to win this race. If you were to come in to this dream and say Freddie Slater was to win this race, I would say absolutely not. With the way that these races have gone out so far this weekend and panned out. If you're on pole, you win. But Enzo Deligny has changed that. He would have loved the win, but I think that car genuinely has a problem. So something inside that car is not right. I'll get to you in a minute, Elizabeth, but there's something not right with Enzo Deligny. Something is definitely not right, but that margin, half a second to Freddie Slater from Al Daheri. How disappointing, though. Freddie Slater starts the last lap of the race. Final lap, Freddie Slater. What a changed emotion race. I don't think Alderhairy has the pace to try and catch up to Freddie Slater. Shows just how much pace you can have when you're leading these sorts of races. But that is very much a mixed emotion sort of race. Of course, this is not the only stream. I've got one more stream still to come. It's the big one. It's the British Grand Prix for the Formula One Grand Prix, the Silverstone. Heading off to Silverstone next for the Formula One Grand Prix. This is the Formula Regional European Championship you're watching right now. Head over to that stream. I would definitely recommend watching that. It's going to be good. Apparently, it's wet. We had Formula 3 and Formula 2. Their feature races were extremely wet. Formula 3, red flagged. Formula 2, the track randomly dried up somehow. So it's going to be good. But Freddie Slater, we're focused on FRECA at the moment. Freddie Slater, the American sensation, is going to go and win here at Hungary. Who would have thought? Meanwhile, it's on back down the back of the grid. It's Akshay Bora looking on the back of Matteo De Paulo. This race is lit up. Freddie Slater, the American sensation. He took the championship in Italian F4. He's now going to close the margin in the championship. Freddie Slater wins race 2 for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. The American sensation, Fast Freddie Slater. We call him many names, and that's why. And you gotta be happy for the kid because he's extremely quick. And Deligny genuinely looked quick in that race, but that car obviously has a problem. He was able to hold on, but I just forgot there was 29 other cars. There was 25 other cars in this race. Nakamura obviously had a problem. He's dropped back to P26, but I just forgot there was 22 other cars in this race. When? This race has been very much focused on that top 4 battle, and Akshay Bora actually really wanted to get in that sort of battle, but there you go. Freddie Slater wins for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and he will celebrate very much. The race results: Freddie Slater wins by half a second over Rash Alderhairy, Enzo Deligny, who sadly obviously had a problem in that car, Matteo De Paulo, Akshay Bora, Evan Julter, Kanate Lay, Michael Belov, Yamakoshi, Taito Kato, Pedro Claro, Nendov Birimbakti, Dion Gauda, Ian Ekmans, Ricky Liu, and Rash Alderhairy had the fastest lap of the race in that one, 1:39.1. But half a second, Freddie Slater to Rash Alderhairy, and then 2.3 seconds back to Enzo Deligny. So those are the provisional results for the moment. Race 2, racing on Hungarian this week. And Ri Hang Ye in P16, Adita Kokovani in P17, Zachary David in P18, Dorian Pan in P19, Yaroslav Veselao in P20, Enzo Richer in P21, Taka El Moshri in P22, Edouard Borna in P23, and so on. And there was a few retirements in that race. But Freddie Slater wins for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and so deservingly. Actually, no, it was deserved off to Enzo Deligny, but he lost the race lead, Enzo Deligny, sadly. And that one wasn't meant to be for Enzo Deligny. It was meant for Freddie Slater. He started 4th, finished 1st. It wasn't even the moves that he had to do. It was, you can see there, Enzo Deligny not happy. He wanted the race win. He walks off, and off to the podium probably there. But Freddie Slater now celebrating with his team. High-fiving all around. And so deservingly, as that car parked up there, the number 27, Freddie Slater. Of course, when we head to Imola next time out, he will have a lot of confidence. Got a new haircut since the last time we saw him, so that's quite cool. Check out the highlights. It was Enzo Deligny. What an absolute epic start, but that wouldn't last for long. He'd be pressured into turn 1. by Freddie Slater and Rachel Dahiri. And then just, it was from the moment those lights went out, they went 2 by 2. Rachel Dahiri went around the outside. DePaolo looked for a move on Freddie Slater. I think that move was successfully done. There's a few cars off in the background. Freddie Slater right around the outside, looked it on Enzo Deligny. Didn't end up happening. Battles going on all the way back down the grid. We saw Al Moshri making big contact with another car. Jack Beaton, that car ended up lit on fire. I'm still confused as to how that happened. Rear end of that car on fire. Freddie Slater, though, made a move on Enzo Deligny. Drama with that car down the back straight through turn 6 and turn 7. Down the back straight. And that was through turn 11. And then again, it happened once again. That car flicking off, flicking on. It's almost like the power shut off on that car. And in the end, he just wasn't able to get the power down. And that car fully died. And it was all but over for Enzo Deligny. If this race went on for 10 minutes longer, I reckon that car would not have finished. But Freddie Slater then, in the end, takes the win for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. He didn't deserve it, but he ended up getting it. We take a look at the podium here, and we're going to hand it down to the world feed in a few moments' time for the podium. But I'm going to answer some of these questions. It's what about some of the streams, said Elizabeth. I've got, next week, I'm not streaming whatsoever. So no streams next week, but videos will be taken up by that. So, yeah, so no streams next week. And nothing is on, I don't think. I think it's only Italian F4. But, no streams next week. And sadly, I know, it's sad. But, there's going to be a few videos. I'm going to hand it down to the world feed for the podium.
But also Mercedes as a junior driver. And of course, like I said, the Mercedes representatives here looking after the junior team as they always do. Follows Dorian Pan as well, who races in the championship. Freddie Slater, though, back on the top step. And Prema are going to celebrate this.
And we also have the best rookie driver, who is Dion Govda.
And Dion Gowda, the young Brit for Van Amersfoort Racing, rookie winner again, just ahead of Ian Eichmann's, who came close.
Először a harmadik helyezettnek a díjat átadja Emanuele Fassano, aki a Formula Regional koordinátora. A harmadik helyezett Enzo Deligny.
So the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine coordinator Emanuele Fassano, delivering the third place trophy to Enzo Deligny. And Rashid Al Dahiri accepting the second place trophy from the Pirelli representative, also a proud partner of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Emanuele Fassano also presenting the winner's trophy to our winner Freddie Slater. A brilliant victory. Could yet be a championship defining moment as well for the young man, and the team manager for Prema Racing accepting the team's trophy from Emanuele Fassano as well. And this will set in place certainly a grand challenge heading into Paul Ricard. Dion Gowda accepting yet another rookie trophy. And we will now listen to the United Kingdom national anthem. Certainly not the first, and it won't be the last time we hear that for Freddie Slater. This continues a brilliant result to make it 3 wins this season, and no question there'll be grander pursuits on the cars. Sharing a picture once again here on the podium, but it's been an absolute pleasure calling the action for you this weekend. That concludes our visit to Hungaroring. We will see you next time at Paul Ricard, but from all of us here, goodbye.
Okay. So, the unlisted video will be probably not out today. To be honest, it probably won't be out today. Too much to do. But, yeah, that's it for FRECA this weekend. No streams next week, but a few videos coming out throughout this week as well. Yeah, if you guys did enjoy, hit like button, subscribe. I would very much recommend going and checking out the F1 stream. I'm going to be starting up in around about 15 minutes. Well, hopefully next week. Hopefully. But if you guys did enjoy, hit like button, subscribe. And I would highly recommend going to check out the Formula 1 British Grand Prix, which I'll be starting my stream up in about 15 minutes. I'll catch you guys there. See you then. Bye-bye.